Hello and welcome to Pitching In, the story podcast that explores the difference between taste and expertise. I'm Christian Barratt, and this week we bring you part 3 of our massive MCU Endtrospective that started with Endgame and will end today with a trio of rankers running down their top MCU moments and films. But before we get into all of our rankings, I'd like to present you with yours. Now, for the past few weeks, there's been a poll going, thanks to SurveyMonkey for their services, in which I asked people to rank MCU movies in order. There was the option to mark a film as unseen, and about a third of our participants had at least 5 to 10 films they had not yet watched of the 22. As far as sample size, statisticians among you will be appalled to know we had a whopping 9 responses, one of which was me, so feel free to take these rankings with the weight they deserve, which I'd say is about medium. Thank you so much to everyone who put forward their rankings, and without further ado, here they are, every movie in the MCU, as ranked by a bunch of people I know from worst to best. So, at number 22, The Incredible Hulk. 21, Thor the Dark World. 20, Ant-Man and the Wasp. 19, Captain Marvel. 18, Thor. 17, Doctor Strange. 16, Black Panther. 15, Iron Man 3. 14, Captain America the First Avenger. 13, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. 12, Ant-Man. 11, Iron Man 2. 10, Avengers Age of Ultron. 9, Thor Ragnarok. 8, Spider-Man Homecoming. 7, Captain America Winter Soldier. 6, Guardians of the Galaxy. 5, Avengers Endgame. 4, Captain America Civil War. 3, Avengers Infinity War. 2, Iron Man. And 1, Avengers. So, take from that what you will. There are some definite surprises in there for me, and I'm sure we'll get around to chatting more about these rankings on future episodes. But in the meantime, feel free to chime in on this official Pitching In listener ranking by heading over to the Pitching In Facebook page. We'll be posting it up there very soon, or on Twitter at Pitching In Podcast. And now on to the biggest rankers of all for our very own endgame of the MCU Endtrospective, as I'm joined by Paul Grabovac and Ryan Woosnam to discuss Easter eggs, favourite moments, and why I actively resent Thor Ragnarok.
Anyway, so Easter eggs I've written down because I sort of
please go for it.
So, Howard the Duck appears next to the Wasp.
The Wasp.
Yeah, so in the original, some people I didn't see that, but apparently
I didn't see it.
It
Sounds
really
very cool.
Yeah. We did mention the original Jarvis from the series. Makes a little segue into the film, and that's links to his dad and where he comes from, which is cool. Joe Russo, the director, is sitting in with Captain America.
He's the first openly gay character in this whole series.
He's having a discussion, which is really cool, in the Cat's support group at the start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and one of the writers is in Infinity War. I just noticed he's in the one of the writers. I can't remember where it's Marcus McFeely, but he's sitting at the table in the scene where War Machine talks to Ross. Thunderbolt Ross in the background, sitting at the table as well.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Is it Ken Leong, the character? Actor, he appears in.
Yes,
he's the one who's looking after Ant-Man's band. Yeah, and he's from Community, which is linked in with the Russos because they know him, and they apparently put a lot of the people in.
Yes,
from
the Winter Soldier as well.
Winter Soldier. And the girl from there as well. I can't think of her name. She's in it as well. She cameos, and she's in the elevator. Yeah, she's in the elevator.
With Cap.
Captain, obviously the kid from Iron Man 3, we said he's all grown up now, so he appears at the sort of the wake, I guess, of him. Yeah. We get, and the little comment, which is a teaser, is the Hail Hydra that Captain America says, which is which is a great moment, but it also links into the comic when they turned Captain America into a Hydra agent and it flipped it around and everyone went bonkers.
Everyone was really angry about that.
That's a couple of cool sort of little Easter eggy things that I found throughout there. And one more, which I really liked actually, and it's a big one, is the I Love You 3000. Do you guys know where that comes from? Or have
I think that's what Iron Man says with his kid.
Yeah, he says to his kid, but
Iron Man.
He says to his daughter. But what do you think is the link to that?
I think.
Where do you
all
think
I know is that
from?
Robert Downey Jr. says it to his kids.
Yes, no, but it's linked to something big in the franchise. So he says, I Love You 3000. There's over 3,000 minutes of Marvel film. So it's I Love You 3000 is saying that they
Is that not a coincidence?
No.
There's over 3,000 minutes. What do you mean? How much over?
I don't know, I'm saying minutes of the film, so it's linked technically. Look it up.
No, I'm just going to calculate because it's 48 hours.
I don't know. Then maybe that's... This is what they're saying.
There's 2,880.
So it's pretty close. a close-ish.
If it's only 48 hours, it's probably over.
Does that include Infinity War and...
Probably not.
Okay.
Okay.
Probably not.
So I said over 3,000 minutes.
Okay.
So I say I love you 3,000, meaning that people love the franchise, and now it's going to become one of those things. I say I love you 3,000. It's linked into the Marvel.
Oh,
This is what I read online.
Okay,
I've already
cool.
said it numerous times to people.
See,
Okay.
Yeah.
gets
I
in
haven't.
there.
I
Gets
haven't.
in Bethany's
Well, maybe
head.
you can
It's
spend
got
more time
in
with people that
Timothy's
you love.
head. It's got in Jeremy's head.
No,
you were too
because I
distracted
don't.
by it.
I've come up with my own quotes for
Those
life.
guys knew all about it. You just
Come
forgot.
up with my own quotes for life, like "Shut up in the cinema."
Yes, right.
I would
Stop
give
scratching
you
your nose.
$1,000 to say that to a person's face in the cinema.
Oh, I told you I don't want to do that. I don't want to be mean to people.
Best cinema experience I had, as well as taking my wife, was going to Transformers, the second one, which is an awful film. And there was a guy who sat next to us, next to my wife. She always gets the duds. And there was a guy that rocked up with a full bucket of popcorn and ate it before the first minute of the film started.
Wow.
But he didn't just slightly eat it; he ate it really loudly, and he was eating with like a flat palm smashed into his face, and it was all
Wow.
falling down his front.
Wow.
And my wife was sitting next to me, and she's just looked at me again. This is the second time I've taken to a film that possibly
Jeez.
should never have taken it to. So now I just take the boy, see?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
didn't care. But, this guy just powered through it. That's dedication, man.
That is dedication.
Yeah. Imagine if you were next to that person.
I
I
mean-
just can't. Imagine
At least it was
that.
before the film.
But
But I
the
don't-
film hadn't even started. Smashed it. Save some, for God's
Okay,
sake.
I had a little.
Give yourself some for the third act.
I had a little.
See, I'm lightening them.
Not an Easter egg. Not an Easter egg. I had a little fact that like a blooper, almost like a blooper, like a little problem. Apparently, just after Ant-Man and Wasp agree to we'll go do that cap and shrink down and fly off, you can see Giant Man in the background
Oh, really?
in one of the shots. Apparently,
Lols.
I'm just like, oh, that's kind of funny. Like, I don't really care about that kind of stuff. That's like,
I mean,
funny and random.
I would argue there's probably like another film's worth of content on the cutting room floor for this film.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Given the amount of stuff we've seen in like teasers and trailers and
Well, there was supposed to be
end-credit
there was supposed to be
sequences
a Thor versus Thor fight sequence.
That got
they
cut
cut that
in
out.
the
That got cut in
scripting
the
process.
writing
Yeah,
Yes, that got cut. That
all
was-
right, so before we do the final thing
All right.
of our top five,
Okay.
I'd
Should we just
like
end
us
it
to
out, Brian?
no. I'd like us to say maybe our favourite moment in the MCU.
The whole universe.
I can't put it down to one.
Oh, God.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but one favourite moment, or even just your top couple of favourite moments.
Oh, there's
For me, the airport fight scene is probably the best moment in MCU because that whole scene is so beautifully,
It's a whole act, really.
so beautifully put together. It's got a 3-act structure on its own. There are beautiful character moments for almost all the characters. It has the Giant Man stuff. It has Spider-Man's introduction. There's just layers upon layers upon layers. If I contain it, like my favorite sequence, I would say that sequence that just blew my mind. Yeah, it's just fantastic. Just
I thought of that
absolutely love
first, and then immediately jumped to Cap versus Iron Man versus Bucky
Good fight scenes.
at the end
That's
of the
really
same
great.
film. Like, yeah, there's spectacle in that one as well,
Yeah.
but in terms of like impact,
Yeah,
oof,
emotional impact for sure.
oof.
For sure.
Like that whole scene from when he goes, "Did you know?" Yes.
Yeah.
And like from that point, you're like,
You're right. That is beautiful.
oh boy, here we go.
And then how it finishes with him, like
Slamming
he chops
it.
off the arm, and then he finishes it him by slamming the shield into the heart, and it's a beautiful metaphor of shield into a heart. What? And then he like says, "You don't deserve it. My dad made it for you." It's
And he
like
just drops it off.
so many beautiful. Yes, that's a very good one.
I still think you've got to think from the original Avengers film when they do the big
Spin around shot?
spin around
Yeah.
shot,
I thought-
when
I
they're all
thought
spinning the
somebody might say
hammers
that.
and you go, wow, they're all
Bum,
together, and
bum,
it's just a
bum,
great moment.
It is.
Yeah, it's the first time
very,
we
very
see them
cool.
together, and it makes everyone very happy.
Totally.
And then the moment that follows that is pretty cool as well. I'm always angry. No, that's just before that.
That's before that, yeah.
Punches that big thing in the snout. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just like that.
Sweet.
I also think I still, when we talked about like Black Panther, as you guys said, it's much maligned, but I do really like Eric Killmonger, the villain, and the sequence at the end when they're sitting together and they're having a chat between the villain.
When he's dying?
He's
Like,
dying.
he's already been
Yeah.
stabbed and
But
he's
there's a
like
discuss,
dying?
like it's to see a villain. I reckon that's the best villain in the whole of the. I reckon he's the best.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, other than Thanos is hard to push against.
Thanos and
is-
Killmonger for
but
me.
Killmonger just because that
I like
he
Killmonger.
made so much sense, that villain in that. That's
Yeah.
why I think I like the film. And the fight sequence on the waterfall when he throws him off the waterfall, and
Yeah.
it's got those moments. But his character made more sense than anyone like Ultron or anything like that. He just was just a great villain, I think. So yeah, I'll chuck that in there as well as one
That's
of my
very cool.
fave moments, which
Yeah.
is probably off the cuffy thing.
Yeah.
But also, come on, let's go to Iron Man 1.
Yeah,
when he's
I mean,
in
I
the
have
suit
like
for the
3
first
from
time
Iron
and
Man
he's
1.
walking away and the gun
When he
turns around
escapes
and
the
shoots
cave.
that thing that's behind him and
Ping.
it's like, no, that thing's like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
his shoulder line. I was like, Oh, when it starts with the ACDC.
I like the montage of him getting his suit together.
Yeah.
That whole sequence, like
it's really fun.
I think they've yet to replicate the origin story like that in terms of getting their powers or getting their suit or getting whatever it is. Like that whole sequence is just great.
Very, very cool.
Just great.
A couple of honourable mentions I want to say is I really love. When Captain America kicks that first dude off the boat, that was when I fell in love with Captain America. Where it's just watching the because I just went shit as well. Listening to the director talk about that, they said we wanted to show people who Captain America was, that he was a straight down the line guy, but he also wasn't messing around. And we said, so as soon as we see him in action, the first thing or the second or third thing he does is just go hi, bang, and he just kicks that guy, and the guy just goes flying off the boat. And you just go, shit, he's not messing around, is he? You go, no, he's not. Like, this is his wheelhouse, and in that wheelhouse, he's the man. I also really liked when Winter Soldier elevator scene. Super great.
Like so cool.
So clever. Like just the tension of that. That was apparently the first scene that they shot.
That's very
for
that film and for them in the MCU.
That's very Die Hardish.
Yeah,
when he gets into that lift with all those guys, and then
they just gradually and like when 2 get in, and then 3 get in, and then 4 get in, and suddenly there's like 12 guys in there with him, and he's like, "You want to get out?" Iron Man versus Hulkbuster. That's some of my favourite Iron Man stuff.
Stop busting up my armour.
When he's like, and he's going, go to sleep, and then he like busts his tooth, and he's like, I'm sorry.
How quickly can we buy this building?
Yeah, so many beautiful, like that's Iron Man at his best, amongst other scenes, but he's great in that. When Vision lifts the hammer, it's pretty cool. Like that's pretty sweet. That's when he goes and just brings it up.
Even that,
anyway, you trust me.
Yeah, in the same film where it's just like that whip round shot.
Yeah,
and leading up to that whole sequence as well, when like all 3 of them, like the Mind Stone beam, the Thor lightning, and the Iron Man stuff, and like Ultron's just like holding it back.
Yeah,
very cool.
And like the Mjolnir discussion scene.
Yeah,
that's just fun. Like
put a hammer in a lift, still goes up,
but it's the lift isn't picking it up.
Lift isn't.
Come on, we've also got. I mean, as much as everyone hates Iron Man 2, Whiplash walking down through the car.
Oh, cool!
I like Iron Man 2.
With Mickey Rourke, just when all lights up, his suit burns off him, and Tony's rolled over, and you can see him at a different angle, and he's like that scene is so good.
I like
Iron Man 2. The suit up
from
the suitcase, just
cool.
Yeah. And then he's got Happy crashing into him. He's like, leave home. That's right. It's so good. It's such a great sequence.
I also like Steve Rogers leaps on the grenade, as you mentioned earlier. Just beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember almost tearing up when I was like, oh God, look at him, little Steve. When Bucky, so this is a weird moment when Bucky, when he's the Winter Soldier and he first lands on the car in Winter Soldier when they're driving, and he just lands in the car and rips the steering wheel out.
Yeah, I
just went, well, they mean business. Like again, that was the first time we saw him, and straight away the directors and writers show that he means business, and you just see Sam just go, what am I going to do?
Is the first time we see him?
No, it's the first time they fight him.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry. So it's like they first engage him, and it's not the first time we see him. You're right. Another one, I like it in Infinity War when we've just had, I can't remember what the moment was, but it's just been sad or interesting or whatever. And then it just goes, and then it just brings up with space. It just goes down, 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 down.
Rubber Man starts playing.
Yeah, that's great. I've been listening to that song.
Bring Me Thanos. Like what? That's a comic book moment if ever there was one. Just seeing him slam down, that was cool.
Yeah. Was that what came just before it?
No, that's at the end. That's the Battle of Wakanda when he summons the Bifrost.
Yes, you're right.
That just reminded me of another awesome
you copied my beard.
Yeah.
Awesome moment, opening of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, when Baby Groot's dancing around and everyone's fighting that alien in the background, and they're all smashed into the ground.
And
that's
brilliantly funny. Fighting.
Yeah, but he's just so casually
he's just dancing and stuff.
Yeah, super cute.
Super funny.
And I also liked it when Iron Man phoned. This is pretty small, but when Iron Man is shooting up into he's taking the in the first Avengers, he's blasting up into the hole, and Jarvis says, "Would you like me to give Pepper a call?" And he says, "May as well." Yeah. And he's like tearing up, or like getting really sad, and then he just says a brief goodbye to her or whatever.
Yeah.
And just those to that thing or something, doesn't
she? You better not. And he's like, that's just beautiful and wonderful. But I'm sure there's loads more. But
Crossbones,
they're the ones that I could kind of remember.
That was cool.
Sick when Crossbones jumps out of the back.
That whole opening sequence is great.
God,
when like Captain America kicks a car into a dude, and then when he's like we practice, and Wanda shoots him up into that building.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think they were going to do the Crossbonesy look. So when he finally kicks out the back of that car and he's got the mask,
that's one thing Marvel done really well, which is like bringing
sick character
comic book look into the quote unquote real world. It's great.
Kind of believable.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that big whip, we've come all the way over. We've arced over the top of the MCU Endtrospective, and let's land. Hero landing.
Yeah,
on
it's
my
going to
knee.
hurt the knees.
Almost going to hurt the knees. With our top 5, should we say?
Sure.
MCU films.
Sure.
So let's do...
5 to 1?
Do you think we can do... Do you think there's any world in which this ends with us deciding on a joint top 5? Or do you think that would be way too hard?
Let's hear them all and we'll find out.
That's going to be hard, because we'll just...
I think it'd be too hard.
I think
okay.
one or two, like the 1, 2, 3 slots might be similar.
Might be similar? Okay.
But I think we'll diverge definitely by the end.
I'm still... I don't know, because I haven't put Endgame in.
I'm not even going to lie. I was looking at my full ranking of the 22, and as I was writing them down by hand, I changed them again.
Oh.
So I feel like I can change 3 to 5 on any given Sunday, like a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just putting mine in. As
I don't know where to put...
Right.
I don't know where to put Endgame.
I'm
Well,
not going to put Endgame in. I'm not going to put... I'll be honest.
I think
Endgame
we're
Infinity
totally
War?
entitled to put Infinity War and Endgame together.
Oh, then I'm good. Okay, sweet.
Okay. Who would like to go first?
Let's start with... So we start with our 5s.
Yeah.
My first 5, my favourite is Age of Ultron.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
what are you guys going
interesting.
for?
I put Spider-Man Homecoming.
So
Oh,
this,
yeah.
this is number 5?
Oh, now I want to know where my Spider-Man Homecoming is.
Okay.
So what's your number 5?
I think I will... Maybe I'll change mine because we're doubling up on those two films.
No.
No,
whatever it is.
because
whatever you
we're
want.
doubling up on the...
Oh, yes.
the
Okay.
full.
Yeah.
So I will go Black Panther
Okay.
as number 5.
That's number 5.
Yeah.
Cool. Ooh, where do I have... I have Spider-Man Homecoming 7.
Okay, close.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're number 4, Christian.
Iron Man 1.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah.
I've got Civil War.
Okay, I'm going to throw
Ooh, nice.
in Infinity War and Endgame at number 4.
And
Okay,
number
nice.
4.
Those
Okay,
are
yeah.
my number
Nice.
4.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Back to you, Chris.
For number 3, Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fair.
number 3. I'm number 3, Winter Soldier.
Oh, sweet.
there you go.
Nice.
Clean sweep of the board.
I'm not going to lie. I've swapped it around. It was number 3, but I'm going to put Infinity Saga at my number 3.
oh, okay.
Which
So you
already
swap
gives you a preview to my number 2.
Yeah, well,
But-
so what I'm stuck in this area now, but yeah, I'm putting the Infinity both as at number 2.
And number 2, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I originally had, but I've literally for whatever reason in my head, I went, no, it has to be the other end.
Okay, so you guys are both number 2 on Infinity
Yeah.
War Saga.
No, so
I'm-
my number 2 now is Winter Soldier.
Okay, you're Winter Soldier.
Oh, you just- yes.
I've just swapped them around.
Yeah, I am Civil War.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so that's my
Okay,
number 2.
and then my number 1 is Civil War.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
My number 1's Avengers, the original.
Oh, cool. My Avengers is 6.
My number
Avengers
1
6,
is
right?
Iron Man 1.
Cool one. Okay.
Because I just think it all started from...
I think
Okay.
our only divergence are Ultron, Spider-Man, Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
See-
we've all picked the same films.
Stuck around the
Because for
same
me,
film.
because for me, the two first Avengers they alternate depending on how I'm feeling. But I can't. There's a pipeline building element to the first Avengers, which I find a little bit tiresome on rewatches.
See, I feel that about Ultron, where Ultron's like, oh god, I have to set up all these other movies rather than just focus on the story that they have.
Ultron is the one that when you look at any lists you look at, Ultron's always right towards the end because it's the one that people think is just this over bloated.
It's in the lower third.
I do think it's bloated, but I
misdirected
think
and
it's
clumsy
fantastic.
film.
I just
Oh,
think
I
there's so
enjoy
much
it.
great
Brilliantly
stuff
good
in
moments in it,
Yeah.
but it is the one that they class as sort of over-bloated, clumsy, and like I said, misdirected.
Oh,
But
really?
it's a good choice. But I originally, before we put that Infinity War, I had
Yeah.
the Avengers as number 5,
Yeah.
and then I booted it out to put the...
I also think there's undeniable poetry to all of Joss Whedon's dialogue that just
Yeah,
has
but it
so
always
many layers to it.
sounds like Joss Whedon.
It
That's
does.
true.
That's a
but
problem.
I like that.
Yeah,
But
but
I
it's
see what you
also
mean.
it's
I
an
see what
inherent
you
problem where you're like, that's not an Iron Man line, that's a Joss Whedon,
Joss Whedon line.
Yeah, sure.
Like, you hear that all the time
It's a
in
Buffy
all
line.
his scripts. Yeah.
Basically,
But
it's Buffy
don't get me
line
wrong,
Avengers.
like Buffy's one of my favourite series
No, but
of
you
all
can hear
time.
you
Me
hear
too.
Buffy in Avengers. When
Well,
he
yeah,
writes,
you hear Joss
yeah,
Whedon.
sure.
and
Yeah.
the timing is there.
And I really would love to know what his version of Infinity War would look like, because I imagine they would have stuck with him if
Yeah.
Ultron didn't. Well, there was a big fallout between him and Kevin Feige.
But also,
Oh,
he
really?
was struggling with
He was-
Ultron.
he was
and
rude.
Well, he
He
wasn't
was
struggling.
knackered, but he was
He
knackered.
wanted more.
Yeah, but he was absolutely. He said he was
Like-
gassed because he'd done 2 big
He
films
wanted
very
more.
short
What do you
amount of
mean?
time. And
The story goes, and you can read it online yourselves, but basically he was in a bartering game with Kevin Feige over what scenes had to stay in the film.
Yes.
Kevin Feige didn't want any of the farmhouse stuff,
Yes,
even
yes.
though that's some of the stuff I love the most.
Yeah, me too.
And the whole Thor going to the waters to
Yes.
see the Vision,
Yes.
apparently that was hugely expanded. There was a whole other character, like a woman in the water that told him all this stuff. And
Yeah.
Kevin Feige basically said, look, if you want this bloody farm scene, you're going to have to lose the cave stuff.
Yeah, the cave or the farm. Yeah, I remember hearing
You know,
about the cave
and
or the
like
farm.
Okay.
there's a lot of, and there was a lot of like basically external pressures on Joss Whedon to craft the film in their vision
Yeah.
rather than his own. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle with it, where, like, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And it ebbs and flows, but it usually sits mid to upper mid in my list. But I can see why people struggle with it, because for the reasons that you like it, people aren't picking up on those things.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I just like in Avengers, there's moments where, like, when they save the helicarrier, I don't think Steve has much to do, and I don't think, like, he just kind of stands around and flicks switches for that whole segment. Yeah. And there's moments like that, just peppered in a few spots in that movie that just feel like they're just cement filling the cracks, you know. And they're doing their job and they're doing it well, but there's not the same extra flavour that's added to everything else that Joss Whedon does, where there's always extra reasons for what he's doing. It always has multiple layers and stuff, and there's always something interesting that you can bite into, but not in those. There's a handful of moments that don't have that.
Plus, but that whole sequence is about getting Loki back out there.
Yes, fair point. And also, I don't think Loki is a great villain. I don't think he's terrible.
He's a cool character, but he's not necessarily a great villain.
I mean, like, I don't like the villains that postulate and do the bigger than life. I find that quite boring.
But that's Loki.
I much prefer Ultron as a villain. I think he's more interesting.
But he pontificates all the time.
Yeah, but he's funny. Like, he's funny because
James Spader kills it.
Oh yeah,
like, I do think he's I mean, but yeah, I can understand people's criticisms of that. Why do you put what you put at number one? Why did you guys put what you put at number one?
So, despite me just not bagging but maligning Joss Whedon, Avengers is at my top spot because it did not only did first what subsequent Avengers films did, it proved that we could have this world. Yeah. And, like, I guess I'm leaning a bit more into sentimentality when I put it at number one.
Very good point.
But, like you say, like, that spin around shot, that point where he says, "Call it Cap," like, there's so much nuance and skill to that film that, again, the whole series could have ended there. It would have been great. Could have, didn't have to, but it did. If it did, it would have been great. And, like, I think it's like this beautiful combination of what they call Phase 1. And I love it. Like, I can rewatch that one infinitely. I can have it on the background all the time. And no matter when I throw my eyes to the screen, it's wicked.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I hear that.
Tighter than Ultron. Yeah.
Anytime.
Tighter and neater. And...
See, I don't think it is tighter. I don't think it's bloated like Ultron.
No, I think it's a little bit tighter.
But there's nothing in Ultron that doesn't
well, so then, something. So then we should be, because we've talked about, like, some of the ones we like, should we just be as bold to throw out maybe two that we dislike?
Sure, but can we just go, what do you like about your why do you put your number one at your number one?
Oh, my number one, sorry. Iron Man 1. Just because I remember thinking, okay, this is the start of the Marvel franchise. I remember going to the cinema and watched it. Starts off, it's got Robert Downey Jr. in it. Everyone at that stage was like, you know, John Favreau had picked Robert Downey Jr. to go in there. Yeah. There's a big risk.
Like,
they're like, they're going to get him. He's come out of all these bad films, and he's an Elko and all that. And then you see the car sequence at the start, and you hear AC/DC, and you're like, you're starting to get vested straight away. Shit gets blown up, he gets hurt and all that. And then you start to hear how good an actor Robert Downey Jr. is as Tony Stark. You start to believe that's Tony Stark. I can't see anyone else, and I know that we maybe before they'd thrown other names in there, but he is Tony Stark. Well, yeah, that'd be awful.
He was thrown around in the 90s.
He was. Yeah. But he just absolutely, because a great film, great villain, like, you know, still like...
Not a great villain.
I liked him. I found him really creepy, and the way he, like, sits on his shoulder with the ear death thing that he just, like, paralyzes him. I liked him.
Probably the fight sequence towards the end is a little bit...
You built the most amazing weapon, and now I'm going to kill you with it.
Like,
cool.
Ironmonger.
Oh, I liked it.
Oh,
I still that's my number one because it starts everything. You never have a little moment of starting everything, and it's cool.
And like watching him run and stuff, so cool.
I'm sold.
And the way he like picks up the motorcycle and throws it at him.
That's right. Smashes him with the motorcycle.
So great. That's right. Smashes him with him. Yeah. Do you know what? After I saw Iron Man, I remember I was just like, this is fantastic. And then when I can't remember what the next movie was in the series that would have come out, but I was like, oh. It doesn't feel as realistic. And like when Thor came out, I was like, oh.
That film you're thinking of is The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, maybe. I can't remember what order I saw them in. But
well, if you watch them in sequence.
Yes. Yeah, but whatever it was, as soon as the universe started to expand to include less realistic stuff, there was a little part of me that was like, I don't want to let go of how real Iron Man feels, because it felt so grounded, you know, like
he lands in reality.
And then I was like, it's okay, as soon as I saw the promise of the premise, once they started to build, I was like, oh, there's so much cool stuff here. I'm willing to let that go. But I still miss how just like I was like, yes, real superhero. It seems like he could really exist. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
For me, the reason Civil War's at the top is because it was it just has so much. I think it's a very well crafted movie. I think it's very well put together, and it was the first time that I saw what I considered to be way too many characters to give enough to every character.
Yeah.
And yet they seem to give, even in the tiniest little moments, they were giving things to all the characters, and they felt justified. It didn't feel bloated. It didn't feel unnecessary, and it was the first film to defy the convention of big floaty thing explodes over a city. Not that I minded those; they were great, but everybody criticised that. So I was really happy to see this much more contained,
great villain,
really good villain, a regular dude who just makes them fight themselves, like really, really good. I really liked. It's my favorite, probably my favorite version of Ant-Man, my favorite version of Black Panther, favorite version of Spidey. Like just all these bang bang, just all the dominoes line up, and it's really, really well done. I just can't. Every time I watch it, I've just finished just going, oh, that's just really well put together. Like, and maybe so. I'm coming from a perspective of I feel like it's one of the films that I can learn the most from about craft. Maybe I'm not sure. But yes, to finish off, Ryan,
finish off strong for the whole podcast.
Let's do some criticising.
Look, the only ones I'm going to say that I think I mentioned to my least favourite.
Are you going to go like on bottom of your list? You say
bottom of the list. Okay. So I'm just going to give you two.
Yeah,
I'm not going to give you 20. I'll just give you two. Age of Ultron is down there.
Wow!
Yes.
Because
if I look at repeat viewings, and I've tried to watch it a couple of times, and I struggle. I really do struggle. Yeah, I don't know because I find it overstuffed.
People talking. Is it because people are talking?
No, not during the movie.
Oh,
no. I just find it overstuffed, overbloated. Ultron.
What do you mean? Can you go into a little bit of detail with overstuffed?
It's just a big film. It's like a big chunky film. I don't.
What do you mean?
Ultron is kind of
too many characters. What do you mean?
Well, like I felt Avengers was so good and got everyone down and got them all right.
Okay.
And I just felt like we start off with this massive battle sequence and everyone's going crazy and we're learning our characters and stuff like that. Ultron rocks up. Didn't buy it. I like him towards the end. He gets a lot better towards the end. Obviously, as his AI is getting better and stuff like that. But I hated the Quicksilvery bit, like
I thought that was great.
No, like it just
didn't see that coming.
Why did they like that? Was just
so
silly.
Good.
Kill him off that early.
It's fine.
Could have kept him around.
No, but you didn't see that coming. That's the point.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's a bit of a silly way to kill off a pretty cool.
It was
character.
Cool, silly way. He saved a kid's life and he saved
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
He's been in a few more movies. He's pretty cool.
Why?
Character. Well,
we already got one. We already got a Quicksilver.
We got Scarlet Witch. So
yeah.
So anyway,
the
that's
X-Men one.
And
he's always compared to them. Though.
Yeah, but that's going to be changing. So that's it. I'm not going to fully go into it.
No, that's fine.
Then Thor 2. No, I won't say Thor 2 because I haven't seen it. And obviously, it's pretty straightforward. Incredible Hulk because I found I hated Edward Norton as the Hulk.
Really?
Yeah, I just did.
I'm not a massive fan of Ruffalo.
I love Ruffalo.
Except in the first two Avengers.
No, it's just so good and he's so funny and just plays it a certain way. Edward Norton I just didn't like. I didn't believe him as Bruce Banner. Also the villain in there, which I didn't he was sort of one note, not trying to get Tim Roth. He was that one note sort of villain. He just didn't want to get old. And then the end of it just turns into a CGI smash between two characters.
He does say Hulk smash.
He does.
And he says it, doesn't he?
I think the Hulk looks a lot better in the newer ones. He didn't look as cool.
Yeah. But that's a sign of the time.
I know, but its design works well. Look, that's just it.
I think that's a fair call.
Right at the bottom of the
Incredible Hulk for me is at 16, but I think that's a fair call.
Can't wait to hear your bottom two.
Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. My bottom of the bottomest is Incredible Hulk. For all the same reasons. I liked Betty Ross. I thought her journey was really great.
Yeah.
And like the bits when he's trying to struggle with controlling Hulk, I thought were really cool. I wish Ruffalo got another turn at continuing that journey, and we might have got a bit more respect and time for the Professor Hulk reveal. And then my second last is Thor. First Thor.
Oh, that's so interesting. That's my second last.
Yeah.
Is that because it's very Shakespearean?
Why?
No, I actually really wish they'd lent into that way more. I think, like, how do you bring what was then, when it first came out, the first, like, off-world MCU film, how do you bridge the gap between what you're seeing and trusting that it's both real and fantastical? And I think that's sort of like not Shakespearean, but what's his name who directed it?
Kenneth Branagh. Well, that's what I meant. That's why I say Shakespearean because some of the dialogue, some of the sequences.
But he didn't write it. But
but it's his direction style as well.
Dutch tilts all the time. But it was just
the
this...
Orient Express. But
Oh man, I watched that.
The why is the fish out of water stuff is great, but there isn't enough around it in terms of what actually pushes him to change.
Yeah.
The internal conflict isn't enough.
Yeah. The story beats. The emotional beats don't. Yeah.
But was chucking Thor on Earth like the old He-Man thing, like the budgets? Like
but I liked that.
Yeah, I like that. That's how he works. You need to have him this bigger than life being brought down to earth.
That's how we get to know him as an audience.
Yeah,
I know.
Like what humanizes him, teaching him to be human.
And he gets kicked out of his world and kicked into ours. He has to get kicked out of his world because his whole thing is hubris. That's his whole lesson. His hubris, and that's what he's still going through in Endgame.
Okay,
he's getting past his hubris and thinking big leavers.
No, in Endgame, it's the loss.
No, that's what I mean. But it's still the legacy of him being this perfect, impenetrable. I can do anything because I'm the best. And he's having these constant, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't. And Endgame is his answer of, no, I can't. You know, it's him going, well, shit, yeah, I can't fix it.
Well, it was too late.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
he could have.
He could have gone.
And they lost and he missed.
Yeah.
So do you want to start with your Thor and then tell us your last?
So on my Thor. So it's funny that it keeps coming up where I talk about, it's not any fun. I'm looking for fun. To me, just to clarify, I'm not necessarily talking about it being funny or light. To me, fun is like Jason Bourne is fun. Casino Royale is fun. Like there are twists, there are curveballs, there is nuance.
Engaging.
There is nuance to every single thing. Nothing is just doing one thing. Everything is working on multiple levels, a joke, a character moment, and an action or whatever. And Thor doesn't do that. Thor does one thing at a time for a lot of the time. When it really works, it does two things at a time. Yeah. For, as you say, for the fish out of water stuff, it's doing two things at a time. He's learning and it's funny. You know, he's learning and we're being introduced to some exposition about the world or about Jane Foster. But for 2/3 of the film, I feel, we're just going, now we will learn about Thor. Now Thor will be upset. Like, it's very one note, and what I probably would call a classicist kind of. It's like Kenneth Branagh does a lot of his movies this way. I found one thing at a time. I find them a bit overly simplistic, and same with Clint Eastwood actually. But yeah, just very one thing at a time. I don't think it's terrible, but it's just like just not good enough. Like there are other movies in my list like Iron Man 3, Incredible Hulk, and Black Panther, which I don't love, but are higher up because I can see them doing more. They're doing multiple things at a time. They're trying harder, even when they fail. They're trying harder. And my bottom is Thor Ragnarok because I actively
I was worried about Age of Ultron.
No, I actively resent, as much as I don't want to. I actively resent its apparent approach.
You feel like Ragnarok's pulling the piss, don't you?
I think all of Ragnarok's comedy is, to me, it's about going like, hey guys, let's just bring it in because I just want to tell you guys I love you. No, you shit, Scotch out over and over and over and over and over. Yeah. And it basically comes out as if it's saying caring is dumb, real feelings are dumb, and nothing really matters, so let's just have a fun time. And that's awful. Yeah. That's an awful message. I actively resent it. And I think at the very best, at best, it's irresponsible. At worst, it's destructive. And it makes people go, yeah, phew, a film that's telling me that I don't have to care about anything. I can just muck around because nothing really matters. It's like, well, geez, nihilism. But
doesn't that happen towards the end when they're leaving and he says we had to bring on the end of Asgard and there's moments towards the end of sadness
and there are it's peppered with moments where you go like, oh, this is a genuine character moment. That's nice.
Well, then
they
undercut it with a joke.
Okay.
They never just let it sit. And what it does for me is like I know that they're movies, but I genuinely believe and take quite seriously the fact that storytelling is a really important part of society and it helps us deal with issues and it helps us communicate and it helps us learn empathy. And so many times what they're doing with this, with Thor Ragnarok is going, here's a fantasy character, but fantasy's stupid, huh? And it's like, no, it's not. Fantasy is a beautiful tool that lets us talk about metaphors and makes us learn about ourselves without just going preach, preach, preach. Like it's very important. It's why fairy tales exist. It's why Disney is successful. It's why Marvel is successful. And this film goes, this is dumb.
Yeah, but they didn't say fantasy dumb. They said, hey, remember how 80s sci-fi films just presented and didn't explain? I feel like they took that turn because they got off Asgard.
Flash Gordon and stuff like that.
They got off Asgard and went, here's some other place in the universe and we're not going to justify it. We're just going to show it to you. I think and we've talked about this already, the design elements of that, the design storytelling, basically,
Yes.
the background storytelling, I loved.
Yes, I really appreciated that.
I totally take your point on the subversion of the emotion.
I loved the casting of it. I thought it was I think it's a great little diversion from some of the other stuff. And I know, I mean, the audiences loved it because it's kicked ass. Like, it's
of course,
because they didn't like Thor.
But it tricked them. But it tricked.
Well, yeah, but I think people went in there and were just blown away by the difference of it because we had gone that Thor journey, but it was the difference from all Marvel films. It's the only one that stands out as slightly.
But to me, it's like the kid in your class.
Peg in the round hole. It's the only one that doesn't really fit.
It's like the rude kid in the class who you laugh at because he's mean and he rips the shit out of everything, but he never makes anything or contributes anything worthwhile.
But then why did
what gives him the right to take the shit out of everything?
How did Ragnarok get past then? Because they've
because of that. For the same reason that when you're sitting in class,
how did they go? You know what, Ragnarok can be a piss take, but then we'll move on to the other.
Tested positively.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
And like I say,
got through.
when you're sitting in class, you have that kid in class who's the mean kid. He's taking the piss out of everybody, even the teacher. But as if the teacher's going to go get out of class because that kid's really popular because he says what people go, oh, he tells it how it is. No, he just rips the shit out of everything, and because that makes people feel relaxed, like, oh, good, I don't have to try in the world because it's too hard. I can just be a victim.
And to your question, Ryan, like, Thor was suffering an image problem where people didn't really like him or care about him, like.
Yeah, you mean the character itself?
The character
so
itself,
far in the first two films.
Yeah,
yes.
so
he was one of the lowest earning characters. Yes,
so he needed a change.
Yes,
and this is what they wrote.
That was their response.
Yeah, so they wrote him in as being fun.
So
humor in there,
and they rolled back his funniness in Infinity War. I think.
Well, I think they acknowledged the impact, like what would have been the impact of what happened to him.
Yeah. But I think they rolled it back, but he definitely wasn't anywhere as serious as he was in the original Thors, and I think that's because they're like, okay, well, we've got you on board with him. He's going to still be a bit silly, but now we get him now, so maybe we're going to keep going.
But that's what I was talking about before about him being the most inconsistent character, because technically he is. If you throw Ragnarok in there and then you throw in the bit where he's sort of overweight near the end, he definitely is. Because he's so sort of seriously in those first two Thor films, and all of a sudden Ragnarok's like, oh, what the fuck, they're going to play around with him.
Yeah.
And then we get a little bit more of that in.
I'm also not a fan of. I mean, it's the reason I didn't engage with Ghostbusters the remake was because I don't think it's good to improv an entire film. I don't think that's what good storytelling is. I think you can improv moments, but you have to know what that moment is doing in the film. And I think half the moments in Ragnarok, they're just going, oh, wait a second, this would be really funny. And every time I hear Chris Hemsworth talk about it, he's like, oh, I wasn't a massive fan of the way they wanted me to do the character in the first two, but they gave me more freedom, and I just wanted to be funny and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, fair call to him, that's his choice. But I just feel that's just Chris Hemsworth being Chris Hemsworth throughout Thor Ragnarok. He doesn't feel like Thor. It just feels like moment to moment, he's just going, what would be funniest right now on the day
but it's
for
also
me as an actor? So I just see him being an actor who's funny, and I'm like, yeah, there's some funny bit, but there's maybe 2 or 3 moments in that film where I genuinely laughed. And I think that's because they're character moments. I can only remember one of them, which is I've been falling for 30 minutes. It's like, that made me laugh. Like,
when Hulk smashes the crap out of Thor, and then Loki stands up and applauds.
That's such an easy joke.
But it's still funny, though. It's still great. People
I just
love
thought that was, but that's not what.
Jeff
doesn't feel
Goldblum's
like what
brilliant. There's some bloody good stuff in that film.
See, to me,
that sequence at the end is sick.
That's funny in a way that would be funny in a cartoon.
The wolf,
but the fight sequence at the end, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
Hero's going to destroy us. She's rocked up.
They all seem fine with it. They're joking every 2 seconds. There's nothing serious. They don't really care.
That's all Taika Waititi stuff. The director.
That's what I mean. So all I'm seeing is the director and the writers. I want to forget that they're written. I want them to feel like real characters.
But then we talked about the Josh Whedon thing. It's the same thing. It's like they put their imprints on things.
That's a very fair point, but he has a message that he's trying to put across. He has an idea. He has an intention. He's not just ripping the shit out of everything. If there's a reason I can respect Quentin Tarantino, even though I don't like him, it's because he has ideas that he's putting forward. I go, well, okay, I'm not sure I like this revenge idea you're pushing, but you're pushing it pretty well. You've thought this out. You're doing layers. Great. Okay, I respect that you have a message. You have an intention. You're not just wasting my time by pissing around. Okay. And it felt like Thor was just like a piss take, but. As I say, so many people have enjoyed it, Thor Ragnarok, and so there's no way I would be like, well, if I was in charge, I'd take it away. I wouldn't take it away because so many people enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy it, and that's why it's at number 20.
He was at the cinema with 50 people, and they talked all the way through it. That's all right, we're going to be close to being done, shall we?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We've only I don't know, guys. We've only been recording for 4 hours. Do you think that's enough? No,
I think that's fantastic.
Enough.
It's longer than the film itself.
I was joking. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Ryan Woosnam. Thank you so much to Paul Grabovac.
It's a pleasure.
Epic.
Bridget
A lot of popcorn, a lot of chocolate.
I'm gonna eat
Introspective.
buy some more with this money from the square jar.
If you guys want to check out more episodes of Pitching In, please go to our Podbean app. Please go to podbean.com. Use Podbean the app. Check us out on iTunes. Check us out on YouTube. And check out our Facebook page as well. And until next time, remember that kindness can be critical.